It's the worst of the CBC for August 16th, 2021, the show where I watch the CBC so you don't have to. Today, I'm actually kind of impressed with their coverage. There were no blatant lies. I started on Afghanistan. I will get in Afghanistan later. Yes, there's some more failings from Trudeau and everyone, but that's a 10-minute video outside of all this thing. There'll be an article later today. Okay. I was kind of impressed with the CBC's analysis of the first full day of the election. Janice McGregor gets a high five. Now, I've seen her be a vapid propagandist for the Liberal Party and evil regimes worldwide, but today she wasn't. So today she deserved to be on TV, and, no torches and pitchforks to her house, please. She rightfully pointed out that, you need some areas of distinction, something I've been saying for a while, that O'Toole, his catastrophic failure is his failure to do so. And you're starting to see one in terms of mandatory vaccines. Trudeau is sort of taking this sort of hard middle ground of sort of like mandatory vaccines for specific people. He's ramping up to, after the election, everyone must be vaccinated. In order to scratch your butt, you got to show proof of identification first. And Jagmeet Singh's already all the way there. Like, mandatory vaccines, mandatory boosters, everyone gets vaccinated every day. We put someone with a vaccine at the end of every apartment, and every time you walk out of your apartment, you get vaccinated. So every time you go in and out of a place, you get a vaccine. And if you don't, death penalty. That's Jagmeet Singh. Also, tax the rich, but I'm the rich, but don't tax me. NDP, who cares? Aaron O'Toole is playing this more, let's say, soft middle ground, which people don't like. It never appeals to anyone. He is not coming out for or against mandatory vaccines. He's skating around it. He's saying, well, no, I don't believe in mandatory vaccines, but maybe mandatory rapid testing, and we'll work together. Over-explaining his position. He should just say, no, it's about choice. We want to get as many people vaccinated as we can. It will be safe. But mandatory vaccines are out of the question. Mandatory vaccines and vaccine passports, the civil liberties implications are too concerning. We're just not doing it because it creates a bigger problem than one you're trying to solve. Boom. Done. Explained. Now, they did rightfully point out, and I was impressed with this, that he does face challenges from his right, his political right. In the Maverick and the PPC, they pointed out. And they actually said the Maverick and the PPC hold a more libertarian view on vaccinations. I was shocked. I mean, that's correct. It's a more libertarian view. I expected them to say it's racist, like Maxime Bernier doesn't want to force black people to do something because he's Islamophobic. I expected that to be the thing. And if you don't round up all the Muslims and give them forced vaccines, that's homophobia. Like, I expected this to be the cascading thing, and I just roll my eyes and then yell at the internet. But no, it was libertarianism. That's correct. So again, good job, Janice McGregor. Bad job, Aaron O'Toole, because he is failing to distinguish himself from Trudeau in any meaningful way. And then the absurdity of this is Aaron O'Toole's trying to play that middle ground. But Justin Trudeau, and this is what you get when you give the media $600 million and a $60 million booster before you go out. He's out there meeting people in crowds. Hey, in the crowds, meeting people, doing everything, going out there. Yes, he has a mask on, but he's out there in the crowds talking to people. Aaron O'Toole has a mask on in a little studio he's built for himself. Aaron O'Toole's like hiding in a little studio, so he's like, it'd be one thing if he's Jagmeet Singh trying to play like, I'm the COVID safe guy. But again, this is the type of thing Aaron O'Toole is doing that he'll never get any credit for from the people he's trying to get credit from. Andrew Coyne might write an article on September 22nd, 2 days after the election, about how Aaron O'Toole was really responsible to be in his little COVID studio and send the right messaging. And I think this is good. Thank you, Andrew Coyne, for saying something literally when it doesn't matter. I think that's his job. I think it's probably in his contract, is to always make sure to comment when things no longer matter. So Aaron O'Toole's like, the messaging is mixed at best. And the signaling is like, I'm all for lockdowns and all that. So, hopefully the PPC gains some ground. And as you see, like, Aaron O'Toole already got his boost. He got the 5% boost off of just everyone said, what the hell is this election doing? So I think Aaron O'Toole's peaked, and I don't see the Conservatives gaining much more ground because they just got that 5% boost to take Trudeau out of majority territory. Now, if Trudeau wins another minority, I think that's the best case scenario for the country. The good guys don't win this election, guys. I mean, I'll vote for probably the PPC here, but 'tis what it is. All right, biggest omission. The biggest omission is the fact that they failed to cover the fact that the CBC itself is a propagandist rag, and that Rosemary Barton, yes, the Rosemary Barton from the Rosemary Barton Scale of Bias, will be moderating the English language debate. This is ridiculous. The Canadian election itself is ridiculous. It's 35 days, the minimum for an election. It's ridiculous. I get it. We don't want the American 2-year marathon of election nonsense. Fine. But 35 days? It's like time for one debate. Trudeau will probably skip it. No counters. Like, if the Conservative Party had a leader, let's say, Derek Sloan or Leslyn Lewis won, or they didn't. Let's say we live in a world where Jim Colorhouse didn't get DQ'd and he won. Right? Jim Colorhouse gets one crack at Trudeau. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It should be minimum 100 days. Minimum 100 days and minimum 3 debates. If you want to be in the election, you have to do 3 debates. Or 2 debates in each, 4 debates. You have to do 2 in each language. You have to do 2 in French, 2 in English. I would love to do the French debate in English. That's what I would do. By the way, we've talked about my strategy before in Quebec, and even my lefty family thought it was a brilliant strategy when I talked about it with them this weekend. They're like, conservatives in Quebec, because you kind of want to make ground in Quebec because you want to bogard liberal votes, and the real strategy in Quebec is to bogard liberal votes. And I said that's why my strategy, if I was conservative leader, would be the mock the bloc. Quebec is spiteful, so just mock the bloc and then pump the bloc up to blockade the liberals in Quebec, and then gain favor from the rest of the country for not pandering to Quebec. The mock the bloc strategy. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Daniel Boren original. You should try it. Aaron O'Toole. Instead, I watched a press conference of him he's holding a picture of himself. Canada's recovery plan will be good for all Canadians. It will also recover Canadians. It's like the art of saying nothing. Okay. So yes, the fact that they didn't cover the fact that a actual leftist propagandist, Trudeau sycophant, will be moderating the one debate we have. And the election is a joke because it's 35 days, and the country is a joke because the Liberals are tyrannical idiots. The NDP are trying to out-idiot them. The Green Party is suing their leader for being a Jew. The Conservative Party is afraid of being conservative. And the Bloc Québécois is in French. So that's not even a real language as far as I'm concerned. That's your analysis for stuff. You can't have a 0 on the Rosemary Buttons. It was pretty good. They made some admissions. So it was like a 3 out of 10, but then the fact that they didn't cover Rosemary Barton, that's a 5. That's 5. It's the actual R-bomb. So it's an 8 out of 10, the Rosemary Barton skill. I know it should have been better, but Rosemary Barton herself skews the Rosemary Barton skill, so that's what you get. I will see everyone tomorrow for the next episode of The Worst of the CBC, if I don't have an aneurysm while watching it tomorrow, which is likely, always likely. Will it happen? Find out next week. Same bat time, same bat place.